Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I'm Antonio Papa from scalablescripts.com, and in this tutorial you will learn how to create and break a monolith into microservices. This tutorial is composed into two parts. In the first part we will create a monolith where we will have three front-end apps: admin, influencer and checkout, consuming one big API built in Laravel. The API does a lot of stuff, like authenticating users, authorizing users if they have access to this page or not, caching data through Redis. In the checkout, when we pay, we will use Stripe, and we will send emails when a payment is processed or when an admin user has done an action. So, as we can see, the API does a lot of stuff. The second part is breaking this up into microservices. Why did I do it like this? Because in real life, in most of the cases, you would need to break a monolith into microservices instead of creating the microservices directly. At least this is what happened in my experience. So in the microservices part, each frontend has its own API. The admin will consume the admin API, and the admin API will only care about the authorization of the users. The influencer will consume the influencer API, and in the influencer API we'll use Redis. The checkout will consume the checkout API, and there, when we pay, we will use Stripe. All admin API, influencer API and checkout API has a dependency on the user, so we created another users API, and those microservices will internally call the users API. So we will have an API call from the front end and an API call from the backend. The emails API only job is to send emails, and all the microservices will connect with RabbitMQ to send events if an action has happened. Each microservice will also have its own database. The data can be similar, but doesn't mean it will be the same. For example, the orders table belongs to the admin API, influencer API and checkout API. But in the checkout API, when the payment is stored, we will store the ID, the user ID, the admin revenue, the influencer revenue, and if it's completed or not, because in some cases the payment does fail. In admin API, we will store the same data, but we don't need the influencer revenue, and we don't need the complete, because there we will store only the completed orders. In the influencer API, we need even fewer data. We only need the user ID and the influencer revenue. All this data will be shared through events to RabbitMQ. This is the app we will build. There are three different apps. This is the admin, this is the influencer, and this is the checkout. All of three apps have a different database and different data, but they will share information through each other through RabbitMQ. So I open RabbitMQ here to show how the events will work. For example, I will create a new product, and I'll put a price. We will see events happening here. So an event has been dispatched. We can see the graphs are changing, and here are the ones that are getting processed. So if we see 0, then everything is okay. So the product that we created will get shown here in the influencer app, which has a different database, and we can see now the product. So let's create a link for that product. So we can see we generated a new link, but this generation will send another event for the checkout to create this link. So you can see here it's happening. And let's use this link to the checkout. We can see this is a product that we just created. I will buy 5 items with a total of $100. So let's put the data here and let's continue to the checkout. So let's put an email. And let's pay. We can see here that the influencer has $6, and now it will change. So we have successfully completed the order, and this will send 3 events to all the other microservices. So the events are sent, and all of them are processed here. So if the events are processed, means the total here will be changed. So is 16. So the influencer earned $10, so 10% of the purchase. And if we see in admin, we will see how much the admin have earned. So the app is really slow because I have a lot of Docker containers running. So this is the order that we processed, and it's 90. So the influencer get 10% and 90% is for the admin. So this is how our app works, and we will split it to microservices. You will learn a lot of things about this project, and I hope you like it.